I'm Josh Rine, licensed professional counselor, and this is Responding in Relationships, Emotional Intelligence in Action for Better Communication. This is a part of the Pause and Respond framework, focusing on Pillar 6, where emotional control gets tested in real conversations, where what you know you should say collides with what you're afraid to say. A lot of people say they struggle with boundaries. They say, I don't know how to set them. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want conflict. I don't want to seem difficult. But most of the time, it's not a lack of knowledge. It's a need for approval. Because boundaries are easy in theory and hard in real conversations. Not because they're complicated, but because they risk something. Rejection, disappointment, the possibility of conflict, tension, being misunderstood. And if you need approval in that moment, you will trade the boundary for the comfort of the approval every time. Let's make it real. Someone asks you to do something you don't want to do. You feel it immediately, that hesitation, the internal cry of no. But instead of saying it, you say, yeah, I can do that. Why? Because saying no feels uncomfortable. And disappointing someone feels worse than overextending yourself. So now you say yes, but you feel resentful. And resentment builds. Not because the other person crossed a boundary, but because you didn't hold one. That's the pattern. Approval replaces clarity. Comfort replaces honesty. Short-term peace replaces long-term respect. Here's another example. A partner says something that bothers you. You feel it, but instead of addressing it, you let it go. You don't want to start anything. You don't want tension, so you just stay quiet. But it doesn't disappear. It builds. And eventually, it comes out sideways. Through tone, distance, irritation, or maybe even a bigger argument later. That's what happens when boundaries fail. They don't disappear, they simply delay. Most people think boundaries are about controlling others, but they're not. They're about communicating what works for you, clearly, directly, and without over-explaining. But approval seeking changes that. Because now the goal is not clarity, the goal is to be liked, to be accepted, to be viewed as easily agreeable or low maintenance. And when that becomes the goal, the boundaries feel dangerous. Here's the truth. You can't maintain strong boundaries and need everyone to be okay with them. The two don't coexist. Because boundaries naturally create reactions. Some people in your life will push back. Some people are going to question you. Some people aren't going to like your boundaries. And if their reaction to the boundary ultimately controls your behavior, the boundary you think you have isn't real. Let me give you a simple moment. Someone asks, can you stay late again tonight? You already feel stretched. You're already tired. But instead of saying, I can't tonight, you say, yeah, I'll make it work. Now what happened? You avoided discomfort, but created internal pressure. Now let's flip it. Same situation. Except this time you respond, I can't tonight, I need to head out on time. Short, clear, no over-explaining. That's a boundary. But here's where people struggle. They think they need to justify it somehow, explain it, soften it, make it more acceptable. So it sounds like, I can't tonight because I've had a long day and I've got some things to take care of, and I just need some time. You've essentially started beginning to negotiate with your own boundary. Clear boundaries do not require long explanations. They simply require confidence. And confidence does not mean aggression. It means clarity without the need for apology. Another example. A friend repeatedly cancels plans at the last minute. It bothers you. But instead of addressing it, you keep rescheduling until frustration builds. Then eventually you say something sharp. That's delayed boundary enforcement. A more controlled response might sound like, hey, when plans change last minute, it throws me off. If that keeps happening, I'm not going to be able to keep scheduling like this. Clear, direct, respectful. Here's what you have to understand. Boundaries are not about being harsh. They're about being consistent. And consistency builds respect, even if it creates some discomfort for others at first. Approval seeking does the opposite. It creates inconsistency. You say yes when you mean no. You stay quiet when something actually bothers you. You tolerate things you don't want to. And people learn over time that your boundaries are flexible. Not because they're trying to take advantage, but because you're not being clear. So let's go deeper. The need for approval often comes from the fear of rejection or conflict, fear of being seen negatively, maybe past experiences where speaking up went poorly. So it makes sense. It just doesn't serve you in the long term. Because every time you avoid a boundary, you teach yourself, my needs come second. And over time, that creates frustration. It creates burnout, feelings of resentments, and ultimately leading to disconnection with the relationships you're in. Strong relationships require boundaries because boundaries create clarity. And ultimately, clarity reduces confusion. And you can't be in a relationship with lots of confusion. Reactive people avoid boundaries until they explode. Controlled people communicate boundaries early and calmly. That's the difference. You don't need to become harsh or rigid. You just need to become clear. So the next time you feel that hesitation, that moment where you want to say no, pause and simply ask, am I avoiding this because it's wrong or because it's uncomfortable? That question changes everything because discomfort is a part of growth, and boundaries require tolerating short-term discomfort in order to gain long-term stability. And this is what we're building in this series, not aggressive communication, not passive, but controlled, clear, effective communication. This is Pillar 6, Responding in Relationships, part of the Pause and Respond framework. And sometimes the strongest thing you can say is no. Now, if you want to go deeper into this framework, the Pause and Respond book and workbooks help walk you through some of these processes step by step. It gives you great opportunity to move from awareness into training and practice on some of these. The goal here is, yes, to be more aware, but also to be able to utilize these steps in order to change outcomes in your life in a positive manner. You can find these and other resources at positiverespond.com. All right. Episode 8 is now complete. 7 more to go in this 15-part series. Follow the show so you don't miss the next episode, because next time we're going to talk about how to deal with defensive people without losing control. Less reaction, more choice.